And when people take ayahuasca, peyote, any substances with good intentions, they have come to realize that the world is how you have been sold. The P sees it one way, alter the brain waves, and there's just as real of a world that is alive and has consciousness. So it's not like you're all going to start tripping or something, but these energies will wave you over. And there will be stirrings inside that will affect the hypothalamus, we believe. And it is in the endocrine system and in the hypothalamus that things can be emitted. Chemical substances, neurotransmitters can be formed beyond dopamine, serotonin, these kinds of things. New chemical forms can process that will awaken people, and they will start to see reality like a psychedelic journey, but not to those extremes. But they will see energy. A butterfly will fly by, and they won't just think, oh, there's a butterfly there. The butterfly could pull them in, and the butterfly could tell a story. And just by staring at the butterfly, you could think about what you want, and it is transmitted through the butterfly. This is the accessibility of the field of existence. This is why we suggest that when your electronic structures fry themselves up, there will be so much more joy around you. Now, you can tell that we are delivering our teachings with a sense of urgency. Actually, really encouraging you, asking each of you to take charge of your life. That is the only way that this energy is going to fit. So if you can set the pattern to bring it in, to enhance your life, on a larger scale, those vibrations will travel very, very quickly. And it is possible for people to instantly shift, and they will be urged by people who have the presence of mind to do so. Is it a guaranteed? No, that's why it's such an exciting game. And is it a given that you are all in one world? Well, the global elite want to drive you into a one-world reality. Yes, new world, one world order, new world order. Which is impossible, because the nature of human spontaneity is that, and nature is that you build probabilities all the time. So some of you will build a probability. Many, many, many of you will, and you'll never meet each other. There's so many of you. But you will build this probability. And we are banking on and observing that it will be strong enough to really steer a good hunk of the herd towards something. Does that help you understand, Greg?
So I guess, yes, and I guess you're saying that we still have choice as an Earth.
You have many choices to make, and there's no one future. That is most important to remember. There is never one future. Futures branch off all the time based on the decisions that you make. This weekend, listening to us, attending this last night's class, today's workshop, many of you have thought about things, and you've made decisions, or you've already made changes. One gal went home last night and completely changed her electronic reality. Congratulations. We will give you a gold star. What is your name? Patty. We will give you a gold star. We are generous but stingy with these gold stars. You have to earn them. It means that you have either thought of something or that you have demonstrated exemplary behavior. Now, her going home, and she got rid of all the electronics, put the cell phone away, changed her bedroom around. She made a choice and built a new probability. She has now headed for a new future for herself. She's still in the world and gets the newspapers, and we'll hear about the dollar, and we'll hear about Korea, and hear about this and this. But her own world has now her stamp of, I'm in charge here. So when you make a change, or when you create a situation where you are forced to make a change, you get bumped, or you get sick, or you get in a wreck, or you lose your job, or you're forced to make a change, or when you initiate change, you literally birth a new probable experience. You are not static, you are not fixed. You have as much freedom to choose what you want as there is freedom in the multiverse. And yet many people will not choose that freedom, even if it was offered up to them. Even if it was blanketed in gold bars, they would not recognize it. And that is where you must develop compassion, to understand that souls learn according to their own volition. And some souls like to stay really where they are, not even imagining that they could be more. And yet each person is part of the scenery, part of the cast that makes life so precious and so interesting and so valuable. We also remind all of you that you are living on something that we call the living library. You take it for granted, it is normal to you that there are creatures. You have accepted, not you in this room necessarily, but your planet, the Western world, has accepted the fallacy, the foolishness, the absolute absurdity of believing that somehow with randomness and a little bit of luck, lots of luck, protozoa and simple objects in the sea, amoebas and things like this, simple singular cellular life forms, began to evolve, and then from them came bunny rabbits and kitty cats and worms and hornets and elephants and tigers and you. That's better than Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, the fairy godmother. It is almost, goodness gracious, it is quite a supposition. It is based on suppositions. Darwin, remember, was a member of the Good Old Boys Club, secret society guy, as were many, many, many people whose work was then promoted in history as the truth. If you were not a member of the secret societies, Masons, Rosicrucians, whatever all these clubs were, if you wrote something, if you discovered something, you could not get published. You were marginalized. That's what happened to Tesla versus Edison, what happens to Béchamp versus your germ guy. Who was the germ guy? Pasteur, yes. It's what happened to Darwin versus some of his colleagues who knew he was off the wall. And Darwin himself doubted it, but the global elite wanted to hide the secret. They wanted to hide the giants. They wanted to hide the presence of beings with unusual skulls. These things have always been known, but they've been kept hidden. So all this must come to light. And you must be the ones to make it happen. Questions?
Yes, I have a question.
You are?
John Paul.
John Paul, welcome. Did you have a good think about things last night, John Paul?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
And we see that you've got a little stronger, cleaner, more frisky energy field today. And you did some healing work on yourself, yes?
Yes, thank you.
By rethinking things, yes?
Yes.
Congratulations. You know, it takes a very strong person, very, very strong person, with a very good sense of humor, to be able to say, I have been wounded, and then to recognize, perhaps I was a wounder, and then to recognize the perfection of the cosmos, that there's no judgment, but there is certainly this law of cause and effect. So what's your question, John Paul?
My question is, a lot of us in this room are getting, how would we say, older. How can we keep our bodies on our side? How can we revitalize, renew, and not have to work on it 24 hours a day?
In other words, aging you are talking about.
How can we, or if we have health problems, how can we get it so it's not ruling us?
Well, first of all, if you have health problems, then act as if you are the creator of the health problem and that your body is following your command. People who get diabetes, for example, it disrupts the balance of sugar in the body, yes? Mm-hmm. Often what happens is there is a regret, a sadness, a bitterness, a loss of life, a loss of love on the emotional level. It can be from this lifetime and other lifetimes. The body literally is telling you what your story is. If your legs are wounded, guess what? You have some issues about going forward. If it's your heart, the heart is the center point. The heart is the clock, tick, 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 hectic, if you feel that you never have enough time and you are running out of time, your heart may start to run out of time for you, because that's the signal you are sending. If you are always talking about someone or something being a pain in the neck or a pain in the butt, your body hears these words and it follows them.